Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of 501 Tacos. Out of the office and into the kitchen, best sports podcast. I'm your host, Taco Ortiz, here with my co-host, Major Butler. Major, what you got for people today?
And we're gonna figure it out.
Yeah,
Take it one conversation, one question at a time. See what we got and how we can make some lives better.
yes, sir. So I actually have a couple things on the agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who don't know, Major Butler, a longtime friend, co-worker, mentor of mine, has a strong background in finance. Years starting off, the second half of 20s. I think it would kind of be a good idea for him to give us a little bit of insight, especially going forward with some financial advice, especially young people, young black people, and people. I'm millennial, despite my uh, really youthful appearance. I just hit the middle class line. I'm still trying to process that. I kind of did a good job. A little baby pony now. So yeah, I think it's just very helpful for us to kind of get some insight into financial advisor, financial analyst expert, however you want to look at it, just so we can add some to it just going forward. I just be better at managing finances. The other two things I have on the agenda are this upcoming COVID documentary. I'm going to let you know me and Rachel probably, you know, we're definitely going to talk sports. Uh, Lions 15 and 2 right now, so Falcons and Lions. Uh, and just some, I recently joined my university. These were students, the assistant coach of Smash. It's completely voluntary. I have not played Smash competitively in a very long time, but this that's something I want to kind of search. Big back into it's kind of helping me with my personal depression. So that was a very long-winded uh, intro. Taco, Major, got from sports.
Well, first I need to lead off with I am not a licensed financial professional, so there's only so much advice I can give you.
We're going
Because
to
if you
strike
take
that
my
from the
advice and you
record.
sue me,
We're gonna strike that from the record, and I'm gonna also add that if it don't apply, let it fly, people. So he's not taking any accountability. I'm gonna throw in the name of group. We're just like, hey, don't listen to me. That's gonna be inserted into the video inside of the edits. So he's not an expert because like so he's not licensed, but he can still give us wisdom from lived experience. That works there.
I mean, I so I'm not a licensed financial manager or not planner. That's the industry term. I'm not a financial planner, but I am a financial manager. I do work in the finance world and trying to help organizations, a particular organization, keep this stuff in order. And I'm the responsible guy. But for life and as the older guy in most of the rooms that I tend to be in, have a plan, man. Save some money, live on a budget, stop balling out of control, stop trying to be the guy on Instagram with all the money and all the advice. It takes time, you know what I'm saying? So that's the biggest advice. Set a plan. What do you want to do? What are you trying to do? And how can you do it with the space that you're in? Write it down. Have and follow the budget because that's what it's going to come down to. We look at all the billionaires and millionaires, and they make it fast. And I was a millionaire by age 25. The dot-com bubble, the social media influencing thing. That's catching lightning in a bottle. How do you maintain it? So long time, just the way I did it. And I'm not super rich. I'm not a billionaire. You just have a plan and work the plan. What do you want to do? Make it clear and do it step by step. 10%, save, invest a little bit in 401k, get a Roth IRA. The difference is, the taxes now, taxes later. Have a plan. Oh, that's it. That's my advice.
Yeah,
Have a plan, and a budget is a plan for your money. If you don't have a plan for your money, everyone else does. So that, take care of that. Have a plan, have a budget, and be disciplined.
for sure. Thank you for that. So I do want to say that I recognize that we're not always licensed, certified, whatever, in our fields, but just little tidbits like that I think are valuable. So thank you. I want to preface this so that I'm not coming off more um, aggressive because there are certain things that irk me from people. So I want to say that what I learned from a financial advisor was it's not how much you make, it's
It's how much you keep.
how much you keep. But the way he worded it, and this is why I'm saying this, someone else took that said, just kind of see you and I got that relationship. We got it. But
I can't hear you.
he said not what you make, it's how you manage it. And so, is how you manage your funds. So it's back to what you said about the budget. And for me, I'm going to make this joke here. A lot of people I grew up with, my day ones, so to speak, are of the mind, what you going to do for a woman, another guy will. And I'm phrasing this is, relationship because it's with the whole social media comment. For me, let buddy have it. That's always my mindset. Because at a certain point, it becomes fuck cheating, bitch, you don't believe in the budget.
Say it again.
Fuck cheating, bitch, you don't believe in a budget. And my friend Kid thought that was hilarious because it is
What?
well, like it's like just this is the reason I made the joke. You said have a budget, a little bit here, a little bit there, IRA. That's kind of what my financial advisor reaffirmed to me because I always had the mindset. I grew up with people who told me you can take $20 from your check, put in your savings. So I would always have money in savings for a long, long time. Where I was good most of the time. I might not have been the richest guy, but I also wasn't trying to show off for other people on social media. I really do not care about socials, and like that lightning in the bottle phrase you used, it is a matter of a lot of times people are performative and keeping up with the Joneses, and for me, that will keep you in a deficit. That's what I learned the hard way. So for me, what I learned is, my financial advisor would say it's a 60-30-30 split. Or no, excuse me, it's a 20-20 split, um, with your finances. And some people might think like, well, 50-50, who's the third person? No, bro, like, it's literally, this is you personally. 60% of your income should go to 20% savings, 20% should go towards Western IRA, however you want to spend that last 20, it could be your play money XYZ. So that's how so it's a different number for everybody. A new advisor I have says 70-30-10, or excuse me, 70-20-10. So it's just little different tidbits here and there. So that was kind of why I wanted to ask you because, sometimes we just need to hear that. Whether, you're the wealthiest or not, have a plan, have a budget, be disciplined. Another tidbit I'm just going to drop it up that instead of trying to go for that lightning in the bottle again, just be consistent. I think it's
Yeah.
dollar cost ratio where that $20, no matter how much more you make, should always be, or the 20% or whatever. If you keep that consistent, that's better because when the market goes up and down, you're not trying to be the Forex guy trying to catch that peak. Because when that valley hits, you're not prepared for that. So, like, what I learned is kind of what you're saying is just be consistent and, that 20%, 10%, whatever it is, just always keep it there because that's going to have a long term effect.
And that's the piece where I say work your plan. I mean, it takes time. See, the thing about, and time changes. Things, back in the day, I don't want to say back in the day. I mean, when I first started, pensions were a thing. When I enlisted in the Air Force back in 1993, which was now 31 years ago, we had a pension.
I was born
50% of.
I was a,
Say again.
I was 4 years old.
Hey man, Some of us were living life, and some others were learning. It just is what it is.
It was,
But it's a good
yeah,
time though.
it was the beginning of
But
my shonen protagonist main character story. Shout out to the 90s babies. So,
I was already the villain by then, so you know.
yeah.
But 30 years ago, things changed. You know, things have changed since then. Like there's no well, back then it was 20-year military career, retired with 50% uh of your highest 50% pension, whatever that formula was. In the time that I was in, that formula changed a little bit. It was at one time it was the last year or the highest rank, the three. So all of those things have kind of been different. Now you get, I think it's a 40% retirement, and then whatever you put into what we call TSP, the thrift savings plan, and you can manage that the way you want to manage. And then when you leave, you can take that money with you. When I was in, we can't take the money. It's just sitting there. So you have different tools that come up. You know, we have high yield savings accounts now where you can go to a non-traditional, non-brick and mortar bank and, you know, get five. And I was trying to look up the going rates, but they're all over the place. But as high as 5%, you know, as low as 2%, but you know, Bank of America or Chase or whatever bank is on the corner near your house, they're giving like 2%. But it's a matter of what do you want to do, you know, your plan, your budget, and what can you afford? Because and then it's going to take time. I mean, you don't want to touch that. You know, I got nothing against forex. You know, they're out there trying to do their thing and figure out the market and like those peaks and valleys are coming. So hopefully they're preparing for the valley because you know the peak is awesome, but there's a certain level of consistency over time. Over the last 10 years, the stock market has had a 10% return. That's not a huge amount of money, but it's better than the high yield savings account. So drop a couple of dollars in there, put it in, and just let it go. Let it go, do its thing, go up and down. When it's time for you to cash out, cash out. But now is not the time. I mean, I'm at 50, I'm still investing in my future. You know, at 20 something, at 30 something, you know, at 40 something, you still need to be putting in to build this thing. Even if you strike it big and, you know, our podcast episodes start generating millions of dollars for us, we still can't bank on that. Well, I have a philosophy that all you need is $2 million and you're good for life if you can budget. Because $2 million is, well, 2 million, we'll say 1.5 to $2 million. That's $50,000 a year for 30 years.
I want to say a couple things because that's an interesting point. So for one, about the forex, I don't knock anybody for how you get your money. You know, just as long as you got a plan that works for you. And again, that's kind of what I was getting at when you kind of were prefacing your experience. You know, if this works for you, if this advice helps you, it benefits you, go ahead and run with it. But at the end of the day, you know, I don't have anything against forex. People doing forex or making money through forex. It's just more if you're doing it looking for that peak to, you know, make that quick, you know, that quick pop, whatever. It's not, from what I've learned, it's not as lucrative as the long-term consistency that we're trying to get at.
No, it's not at all.
Yeah.
Because taxes, we don't talk about taxes. I don't want to cut you off, but taxes, for every million you make, you owe the government 500,000.
Oh yeah. I have a few relatives who are entrepreneurs, millionaires, and that's kind of the whole 2 million thing because of inflation. I think Big Sean said 1 million is still broke. When you next to, you know, somebody, and not to compare, but like he said, he was next to Jay-Z, he made 1 million, and he realized he didn't have real money yet. And my mindset is, if you have $1 billion, just 1 million, you spent $1, you back to just under, you know, you in 100,000s. For me, with inflation and where we are, I personally am aiming for 6 figures. I know within the next year or two, I will be touching 6 figures, and that's coming a long way from where I've been over the last couple of years. But you know, if and I don't monetize my podcast anymore yet, just because I'm building the habits to be consistent with it because I took a very long hiatus for personal health reasons. But
Yeah, that game has changed.
yeah, but at the same time, for me, I do this because I love it and I'm good at it and I have a voice for it. And I've always been told, you know, by people who, would hear me. And I have this little story about I was working the drive through McDonald's at midnight, radio station or a radio station teacher heard my voice. She said, "You got a great voice for radio," and gave me her card. And everybody there was blowing their mind, but people around me was like, "Well, she's trying to get your money." Like, I work in McDonald's, bro. Like, I don't make enough money for her to try to like leech off me, But I do this because I love it. It's fun. I get to interact with you and others. But as far as like the monetary point, it's just building the habits. Because I listen to a lot of finance podcasts. A lot of those people, we put ourselves in debt, getting our degrees. But if we are consistent, we can work down that debt. It's just ratio. And again, that goes back to what my buddy was saying. So for me personally, I try to be consistent. I think this is important for a lot of people to hear. It's just the consistency with it. Get your money how you can, but also have a plan for your money. That
Yeah, but the biggest thing is time.
Yeah.
Because even those folks, even those influencers that are making millions now, they're living on those millions. So those millions are not going to last 20 years.
Yeah.
So, I look back to, it's like, oh, I remember a time when I was making, but now I'm not making. Or I was doing, now I'm not doing. Time changes. So you got to be consistent. You got to have a plan. And you got to work it.
You got to adapt. And that comes to some of the next points about Smash, which I'm the assistant coach for at my university. And then Kobe, who was another topic on our agenda, big topic. The documentary is coming out with CNN, our documentary. But it is have a plan, but also be able to adapt to the times. I know a lot of people who are in real estate who made a killing 2 years ago in 2023. And then 2024, it's just a lot like, they're like, I don't know what happened because it was projected to be a better year for them. But they made so much money in 2023 that they can live off that money. But if they're not making, equivalent or at least 10% more, they might not even broke even in 2024. So that's kind of like, what I'm hearing you say, but also it's just a matter of my biggest thing. And one thing a lot of people know about me, it's true to day one. I'm very adaptable. I'm very flexible. I'm very fluid. Because you got to be to survive, but also not just survive, to thrive if you really want to. And you got to have other sources of income. So,
and that's the piece that most people don't, pay attention to.
Yeah.
Most millionaires have at least 7 streams of income.
Yeah. And
the biggest stream of income that most of us have, non-influencers, non-millionaires, not on TikTok, is our job.
Rip.
Your job is your biggest income producer. Now, a lot of us don't necessarily, well, I'm going to say us, but a lot of people don't necessarily like their job. They want to do something else. And entrepreneurship, entrepreneurism, whatever you want to say it, is very attractive. But you got to be making money to live. And a lot of people, they want to leave their corporate job and go into, that's usually the testimony. I left my corporate job after 15 years and started with nothing. Okay, if that's the risk you want to take, go for it. You got a plan, you got to work it. It's going to take time, but don't risk your number one income producer. A bird in the hand is better than 2 in the bush. I live by that old saying. Keep your job until you can. Keep your job until your business is doing so well that you have to burn up all of your PTO to make your business work.
Yeah.
And then once you burn up all you don't care about burning up your PTO because you're making money. So now you can leave. But if you have PTO because you're not working as hard, you go to work 9 to 5 and then you come home, 5 to 9 to work the job, work the side gig, work your entrepreneurship. But you can't, when they don't start to overlap, if it's not overlapping, you got to stay at the full-time job.
Yeah, and I want to just cut in right here because it's 2 things you said. One is something someone taught me years ago that I'm a firmly believe. There was a coworker of mine. She said, "You don't quit jobs, they quit managers. Otherwise, you just quit." So I'm on LinkedIn. I follow Employee Humanity. I read a lot of their posts because I'm a leader in my community. I'm an influencer. And again, that goes to knowing the market. Why I'm very adamant about the location to where I was valued and where I had more meaningful connections. But you know, we can teach people on the job how to do the job well. You got to take those skills somewhere else. But if you treat people well, then they'll work for you for a very long time. You know, and so there's another entrepreneur I actually follow on LinkedIn. Uh, I believe her name is Bianca Johnson. I didn't get it right. But she's an entrepreneur who still advocates for people working 9 to 5 jobs. And that's just because she said it's a peace of mind that she doesn't get that after 5 o'clock. She does not have to worry about work. She can go be Brianna and do whatever if she was still in a 9 corporate job versus people like herself who are entrepreneurs. They're just always say no to your business. And
Yeah, it's crazy.
You need to delegate, some of those tasks. I've told a lot of my entrepreneur relatives, but a lot of the people my family have a control freak aspect, so do it as something I'm working on. Just needing everything to be right, perfectionist. But again, long story short, just being able to turn off after 5 o'clock. That's why the podcast is 501 tacos. But at work, I'm Mike. 8 a.m. Monday, I'm yours. 501 tacos. That is the reason behind the name podcast and taco. They are teams and everything, but I get that perk to be able to do this on my off time. So, it's just, again, do what works for you. Everybody wants to be We've got to find a plan. Again, my strongest strength is my influence. I'm using that the best I can. But I'll do that both in my 9 to 5 life, which I do enjoy my job, but I struggle at working. Some people at the same time, I do that here, but people get to inspire and joy.
Yeah, it's a lot of it about financial freedom, financial planning is very individual. Excuse me. Everybody wants the quick fix, the golden goose. There is no golden goose. So, excuse me.
You are your own golden goose.
You are. So there's not just one. Okay, this is the thing that's going to get me over. Trade. I tell people all the time, I'm not a day trader. I'm not sitting there watching the market to see what's going on. Oh, Bank of America, Tesla lost 10%. Tesla, everybody's being very emotional with how they invest. Because we're so attached to people, because we see Elon Musk acting ass everywhere he goes, people are like, I don't want to be associated with that. I'm not a friend of Elon Musk, but damn it, he makes some money. I'm investing in Tesla.
Yeah.
Walmart has their issues, but damn it, they're making money. I know there's a moral standard that we have to follow and all that kind of stuff, but the company is not the person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So there are a lot of good people, there's a lot of good things happening at Tesla. I'm not investing in Elon Musk, because if I was, then he'd be giving me some of his $250 billion. He ain't thinking about me. So find what you need to do. I'll listen. Buy and hold. Warren Buffett tells you that's his method. And people ask him all the time, but why don't more people do that? Because people don't want to get rich slow.
Yeah. So here's another thing too. One, it's a couple things you said, and my mother and I talk about this quite often. People like to pick and choose parts of the Bible and whatever that word for them to justify whatever. But the quote from the Bible is not money is the root of all evil. It's the love of money. And so money. You got to be a ruthless to really be a billionaire, to get to that level. You don't believe me? Watch Fall of the House of Usher on Netflix. It's one of my favorite series I've watched. Fun.
What is it?
Fall of the House of Usher. I'll put the link in the name, the description of the episode. But you got to be absolutely ruthless. So for me to get to 100K, just to get where I am now, assistant director in my position, after 1 year when we were told it's 5 to 6 or something like 4 to 5, 4 to 6 something years to get to this position. I didn't want, but it takes a dog effort, and like a Michael Vick dog fight. Pardon the really rough, really crass analogy, but uh, you. Here's another thing. I'm watching the Blacklist. Uh, you gotta be pragmatic. A lot of us get. You said people are emotional with their money because you have an investment for your livelihood, but a lot of people are emotional in general, where you gotta take a step back. Be objective. Do what's gonna work for you. And you got to realize that money or wealth can be a very dirty game. So if you're not ready to drop some of the morals, accept, or find comfort in where you are. Now, like I say, you are your own golden goose. So everything you
Mm-hmm.
need is within you, and God and the universe is always working in your favor. So long as you are trusting and doing what you got to do within, your means or your morals, and trust me, I wish I could be selfish or just be completely cold like some days, but it's just you might not see it, but it ruins me when I have to do certain things to get to the next level. I know self. It's as they say about Vince McMahon, and Punk said
Yeah, I still haven't watched that documentary. I keep saying I'm going to, but I haven't gotten to it yet.
it was phenomenally well crafted, well told. A lot of disturbing content, but again, Vince created something that is absolutely great, absolutely beautiful, but at the same time, it is Vince was not a paragon of virtue, as CM Punk put it. Um, so again, wearing my Black Hawk sweater, shout out Town, shout out CM Punk. But again, Vince, the way he made his empire, I mean, that documentary was so great. My mother keeps saying she's going to watch it. You got to watch it. But I mean,
Okay.
Don't sell. And that basically just means don't show when, something knocks you off the peg. Keep that mask on. That's what I do every day. I wear my mask at work, wear my mask in different social settings just so I can, you know, do what I got to do to get to the next level and, take care of my people, my family. Well, no, myself first. Now that's something big.
It again is so everybody wants it. Like comparison is a thief of joy.
Oh,
So as long as you're looking at someone else's pockets and trying to match what they're doing, a lot of people are out here fronting.
oh, absolutely.
Living on credit cards and debt. I'm not a big debt person. I've come up in a culture, in a community that says debt is a disease, but you won't catch it here.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
limit credit cards, limit, if you can't buy with cash, you probably don't need it.
yeah. If you can't,
Well, if you need it and you don't have the cash, go ahead and get the credit card, finance it, pay it off, and get rid of it.
yeah,
I mean, that's just my philosophy. But the people are doing what they're doing. Everybody's telling the story. Only the people close to them know, and sometimes they don't know. So I just go back to the same thing. Figure out what you want.
yeah,
Choose your goal, make a plan, and do the work. I mean that's why I stand on it.
yeah,
But educate yourself too.
yeah.
Figure it out.
Financial
Figure out. Ask the questions. Find some people that are gonna help you. Educate yourself. I was just looking at I found I said 5%. You just lost 1/4%. 4.75 is the highest for an online bank. So do your research.
little.
Figure out what you want to do and do it for a long time.
Yeah, and two other things I want to touch on before we kind of transition is brick and mortar banks are actually becoming obsolete. So there are some people about to lose their jobs in the near future. And that's been going on for about 4 or 5 years now. But another thing that I want to touch on to mention is just that I want to make sure I remember um, the comparison and the thief of joy. And I look at some people in general as debt demons. Is the way I look at them, because a lot of people will leech off of you if you let them. So like, a lot of us take on debt. I was at a point where my credit was so good, and I was getting. I mean, my creditors were throwing money at me I didn't even request. I just was that good with my credit that I just made some not wise decisions with people I attached myself to, and what I allowed. But at the end of the day, you got to do what works for you. I just do not think credit cards in general or the credit system is always in our favor. The idea that I need a creditor to buy something that I want or need is not something that I just feel comfortable with, but I'm just also very self-reliant, uh, for better or worse. So, work your plan as Major said. That's his advice for the day. Speaking of working that plan, dedication, you cool if I transition to Kobe? Um, everybody knows,
I like Kobe.
yeah, everybody knows I am a huge Kobe Mamba fan, favorite player of all time. Do I think he's the GOAT? He has an argument, but again, that's subjective. We won't even jump into that conversation today. Coming up on the anniversary, 5-year anniversary of his passing. First year in grad school, second semester, I am finishing a paper, and I'm getting texts as if my brother, my older brother, passed, my uncle uh, passed, and I am in tears for the first time in probably 10 years. Literally in tears every time I get this text. I'm like, what? Uh, TMZ. I don't even know if they're still a thing. I haven't heard about them in so long. But TMZ broke the news before. I mean, it was even.
There you are.
Yeah. Well, again, back to the quick social media. I'm actually thinking about deactivating my socials again, just because it's draining. But TMZ broke the news before anybody else. I mean, I think Vanessa got the news from TMZ, and shout out to Brian, and my condolences on this 5-year mark of her passing of her husband and her daughter. But 5-year anniversary coming up, and we have a documentary, 3-part documentary, I believe, produced by CNN coming out about his life prior to um, uh, being in the NBA. And I recently saw a video where he mentioned that he grew up practicing for the 76ers. And they said, there were a lot of guys in the league already saying like they call Michael Jordan, I almost said Michael Jordan Black Jesus or Black Cat. He's like, what? I'm calling him fucking Mike. That's his name. But he just didn't look at, Mike like a mountain to shy away from. He leaned into content mountain. And that's just something I personally embody. It's just having that that Mamba mentality where I I don't even think I realized it until maybe a few years ago, a couple of years. It's just that, and again, another one of the compliments I get all the time is just my determination. It's just I get low, get my own rock bottom points, but I let myself fall just because I know once I hit that rock bottom, that pit, it's like, all right, Taco, get up, make some shit shake. Like we had our pity party. We know we can figure this out, and it kind of goes back to the goat, our own goat Goose. And a lot of that I just saw it in Kobe. Turning his anger into his strength. Daily meditation on focusing his goals, a work ethic like no other. And a lot of players, just people in general, just don't seem to have that belief. And it goes back to that quick pop, that overnight, fix or whatever you want to call it. But it takes a lot of work. Kobe played 20 years. 20 years, top 5 player all time, top 3, whatever. But it was just a lot of work. And 3 a.m. blackout sessions. We called it. He's practicing probably 12 hours a day and then still playing 2-hour game, 4-quarter game, and right back to practice. So he just really leaned into his craft. For better or worse, but I think he burnt out he broke down his body earlier than he needed. But he still got the results. So
A 20-year career is a 20-year career. I mean, everybody has injuries, and I mean, I'm not a Kobe hater. I am a fan of Kobe. I liked him when he was playing. I didn't want to see him win that second. I wanted to see KG and the Truth get that second
nah. Oh,
that second championship, now rematch. but it was great to watch. It was great to watch. But one of the things about I look at Kobe and I salute all of the Mamba mentality. All that's dope. And the blackout sessions. That's
That's
not
insane.
reality though.
That's insane, bro. That's
That
really just psychotic.
it and it but it only happens in certain places.
Yeah.
It only happens in certain places. You can't work that hard at your craft. There's only so much time I can spend, making financial plans and calculating expenses and building a budget. And, there's only so much I can read. There's only, that where he was, what he was doing was phenomenal. But, you know, he was in a very unique, very exceptional place. He was an exceptional person. I mean, that's why we celebrate him. Yes, the Mamba mentality is dope, and getting to the top of your craft is all. But regular people don't have that kind of time to invest into their craft. There's
Yeah.
so many other things they have to do. One of the things that people want money for is freedom, so they can buy things to free up their time.
Absolutely.
He had the money he flew to work every day. He flew over traffic. He had the money to do that. He's flying over us while we're sitting in traffic, trying to either go through an audio book or text while we're stopped at the light, or eat or put on makeup if that's your thing. Changing clothes, going from one job to the next. So there's a
He's the
certain
one
thing you
like
can
that.
pull from that, but Kobe was exceptional, and he was in a very unique place to do what he did. But I understand pulling those things that you can from the Mamba mentality, but that ain't reality.
Well, yeah, no, you make a good point. I just want to push back on something. And again, I'm gonna go back to the wishing well one more time about the golden goose and just the conversation we're having today. Do what works for you. Everybody is exceptional in their own way. People hear me call myself him all the time, and I do truly breathe and believe that, because if I can't do it for me, who else will? Besides God, you know. You know, to me, it's him, gang, and fam. That's it. And him, excuse me, him, gang, food, and that's it. So it's me. My circle of very close, comrades and family, and then everybody else is food to me. When I look at that, it's like, when I say that, I mean like your competition, but it's just not. I, I'm not comparing myself. I just look at you as more like a little obstacle. But I personally believe in myself so much that I know I
Yeah.
will fail. But everybody is exceptional in their own way. Part of my job is just coaching, my students to figure out where their strengths are, how to work them to get through, not just college, but to the next step, in life, that adult life where we are working these jobs to survive, but ultimately the goal is to live, thrive. And, so Kobe was exceptional. I think everybody's exceptional. It's just finding it and believing in yourself and really locking into it, Now, again, that is absolutely psychotic, having a blackout session where we playing a game after, practicing before practice, after practice, maybe taking a nap, then the game the next day, the same day, whatever, then you're going right back to practice. Uh, that's psychotic. That is literally some machine type stuff. That's just what it was. Michael Jordan he had that killer instinct where Buddy Sampson, he didn't grow up watching live sports. He watched Michael Jordan documentaries. He said I looked like he was made to play basketball. Literally, like very legend. Played against Mike in the playoff series. Him and Leo was for 87, 88, when he said Michael Jordan, he thought he was playing God. This is Larry Bird, who walked into a three-point contest, asked the locker room for other competitors. It's coming in second. He
What
won the
shot
contest.
coming in second?
I mean, that's like some different type of trash talk. But I mean, he did exactly what he said he'd do, and then he ran up against Jordan. Said it was like playing against God. So everybody has their talents. I think Mike was just he willed his team himself. He was just that skilled. Even LeBron has his talents and everything. Whatever I think about LeBron is more subjective to any ball. Everybody's exceptional. We like to honor Kobe for his machine-like, dogmatic focus. And how that worked for him. I personally do not fuck with Boston at all. My cousin is relocating to Boston for her new, so I almost wish she would stay in New York. It's very investments. Safe. Yeah, I just don't fuck with Boston. But I was born in LA, so it equal chance what I got. Yeah, I mean, again, it was psychotic, and you probably accept teamwork, and we all got to find where our gifts are and how to tap into it.
I mean, this just goes back to, I mean, I put everything kind of in the same bucket. Choose a goal, make a plan, do the work. You have to. Kobe was doing the work that he needed to do. I'm not saying that he shouldn't have done it. He did what he had to do to be the best that he could be at that level. But we don't have regular people. I'm 6 feet on a good day. You know what I'm saying? I play lacrosse with younger guys, and I can outrun them, 1 or 2 times during the game. I wasn't built to be an athlete.
Yeah.
I got to do something else. For me, it's teaching, but it is what it is. I mean, how do I find the best way to teach? Find your gifts and work through it. But choose a goal, make a plan, and do the work. That's it. But times have changed. I mean, you're a Kobe guy. My era is a little bit different. I don't have one person I look at. Jordan was cool, but I'm a Knicks fan, so that's just a whole nother conversation. But Ewing is there. We got John Starks, and we go back to the 70s, with Bernard King. We the 70s and 80s. So there's this a whole era of, we get caught up in entertainment too much stuff. When I look at people, I'm reading books on Colin Powell. That's like my person that I look to, that I met, looked face to face, shook his hand, had a conversation, and can say some things. But everybody has, we got to live in reality.
You said you're reading books, and you said what? You shook.
So I've read books by Colin Powell. I've had a conversation with him. I shook his hand. I got pictures. So, everybody's heroes are different.
Yeah.
But it goes back to you saying everybody is your own golden goose. And I have a saying all the time: don't meet your heroes.
Oh, absolutely no.
Because I met Colin Powell at a book signing. He didn't have a whole lot of time to talk. He did talk to me. We had a good, minute conversation. But had there been a bit more crowded at this book signing, he would have signed my book, and I wouldn't have to take the picture. I wouldn't have to shake his hand, and then I'd have felt some kind of way. It's like he owed me something, which he didn't. He signed my book. He signed the book that, I had a paper. He signed more books than he was, selling that day. Yeah. I have a bunch of them. So you pick your heroes, you go through this process, do your thing. You find what you want to do and do it. But I mean, Kobe is a good example of perseverance. I do use a lot of his quotes for my team, like nervousness. He said, "What are you nervous for?" Confidence comes from preparation. I've done this 1,000 times. I'm just doing it one more time. I've done this one thing you're asking me to do. I'm not nervous. That requires, so why are you nervous? Because you didn't prepare.
But that's exactly what you're going back to about consistency and preparing and discipline.
Oh, yeah.
You just got to work your plan. Practice. I mean, we hear the AI quote about practice for so many years. But look at AI. I hate to say this, AI was he was a great player as far as on an individualistic talent. He did not have the mindset. He was a quick pop, and his career fizzled out. But
no, see that I got to push back on that. Everybody uses that quote about practice. You were talking to this man about being in practice after his best friend died. You talking to me about being at practice. My best friend died yesterday. And you want me at practice today? Not a game. Practice.
Wait. So thank you for pushing back. Thanks for correcting me. I just want to say we go back to the AI quote, not the scenario. But so I appreciate what you're saying, because
the quote is taken out of context and you put a bag. AI was the man. He worked hard. He's my size and he's in the Hall of Fame.
I am not
And you
knocking.
say we talking about practice?
I'm not knocking that. You're right. I'm just saying we. And again, it is taken out of context. A lot of people just like the sound bite. Let me clarify. We go back to the AI quote about practice. Now, trust me, if my best friend died, people came up to me about, after my aunt died when I was at work one day. I'm like, you literally complaining to me about something I wasn't even there for. And I'm telling you, my aunt just passed. Please get the fuck out of my face. Literally, get out of my face. But we go back to the quote, but the what I really want to get at is just that practice is part of consistency. I'm not
Yeah.
going to practice makes perfect, because if you perfect, that means you stop growing. And again, I said I'm always adaptable, but
Practice
practice
makes
is
permanent.
consistent. AI was an absolute dog. AI's mentality, as far as outside factors, played a role in his overall career. Because I know some things I can share about AI from Silent Detroit that I'm not going to put on this podcast. But practice makes builds consistency, builds the habits. Again, that's why I we set this time for the podcast, and when life lives, we have alternative times. I got my students from my players from the Smash team going off on Discord as always. Um, yeah, practice and consistency are like can't two peas in the pod. For me, you got to build those habits. You got to mold yourself. And again, like go back to coping support about nervousness, I've done this 1,000 times. When I see a challenge, and I think I mentioned this in our last episode, a long time friend of mine told me, you're always doing new things, big exciting things. And I see those things, I'm terrified. I'm like, why? If it does not terrify me enough, I'm not excited. I'm not interested. I'm not stimulated. I was talking to my mom about a quote from a high school teacher where my sister does the work, but I probably understand math better than her. But it's just that a lot of times it just wasn't challenging. So I would fall asleep during a math class. I would open a math textbook back when books were physical books in classrooms, and fall asleep just because it was like, oh, this is math time. you know, Probably dreamed about doing the work or whatever. That would have been a nightmare. But yeah, so again, it's just a matter of being consistent, because my sister got those results, from being consistent, whereas a lot of teachers had to find different ways to stimulate me. So again, I look at challenges and it excites me, because it's like I know I can do this when I apply myself. And then I practice and I get good at it, and then it's just you know hard work is more important than genius. A B plus player is somebody you can always rely on.
Yeah.
Um, that guy like a Donovan Mitchell, I'll use him. Donovan Mitchell is probably one of my least favorite players besides James Harden. We said we got one or two. I'm a Kobe. I like KD. I like Steve Nash, KG, Timmy, Steph, and Joker right now in modern day. Those are guys you can always rely on pretty much. Um, but a B plus player is always going to be somebody you can have on your team versus that, this person got 110 this day on a test with all the extra credit. He was just locked in. The rest of the time, his grades were like probably like a low B, maybe a C here. Then you got those D days. So that's kind of my point. It's just, we got to be consistent. You got to, play to your strengths. I'm big on that, and figure out how to make it work for you. Blackout session for somebody else might not be that 3 a.m. To 12 midnight the next day type thing. It could be you just really lock in, for on Tuesdays. Maybe that's your thing. So it looks different for everybody.
Good. And I mean that's what Tuesdays and Thursdays comes from. You get two of those a week. You get one Wednesday, you taking off Monday or Friday. So Tuesdays and Thursdays. But
Tuesdays and
that's a
Thursdays usually are the days I'm locked in too.
that's
Wednesdays,
where Tuesdays and Thursdays leadership sessions comes from.
yeah,
But that's another podcast for another day. But that's what it's about, work and finding out what works best for you, because there's no one way to do
yeah,
it. There's no one way. This is the way you got to do it. And it's hard when it comes to like leader development, because you want to establish processes. But there's no one way to do things, and this is how we do it here. Or we don't do it that way, or whatever it may be. I mean, you have to. You said earlier, you know, learn to survive, but to thrive. And thriving is when you can operate in that sphere, but still reach your own trajectory by doing things differently.
Yeah.
And that, you know, you got to educate yourself and find out what's working, where the best opportunities are. Consistent, but continue to, you know, to stretch. You know, be consistent, but never stop improving. You know, those are that's the balance and counterbalance that you need to progress and go to the next level. So Kobe is a great example, but Kobe was just Kobe is unrealistic.
He's one example, and it's absolutely insane. I want to now. What I'm saying here is this is a preface that I usually would try to avoid. I'm avoiding a lot of the race baiting and gender wars intentionally going forward. I never engage in those gender war topics or whatever. But as far as race baiting, I try to avoid this because I had a great conversation New Year's Day at the gym, and I'm very much you set the tone for your week, you know, about how you prepare, but especially that Monday. So Mondays 5 a.m., 6 a.m. I'm in the gym. I am working out because I do unto Monday before Monday does unto me. I'm setting the tone for my week so that Tuesday I really can lock in. That Wednesday is Monday part 3 for me. So I'm getting over the hump, but Thursday I'm locked back in, and then Friday I'm wrapping it up. 501 time for the rest of the weekend out of office. But so my point is, a lot of people are constantly in a survival state. There's a certain demographic. And it is a matter of adapting to get over that hump to where you thrive. You know, you got to be resilient. You got to be resourceful. You got to be adaptable. You have to have some type of wisdom, humility, confidence for sure, sense of humor, empathy. But you got to know when to flip the switch and where that is for you. What can you sacrifice to get something back? You know, for me, leadership is service. I'm a leader and I serve my community. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Smitty, following is leading. You know, lead from behind. There are generals who are frontline generals, and they're in the thick of the battle with their truth because that's just the command that they have. Versus some of us, you know, and I can be either or, but you know, there are also, you know, generals in the rear who are watching, directing, and they are delegating tasks. You know, and this is more of a
we lead from the front, but you do delegate.
Well, this is more
you lead from the front.
Let me rephrase that because you were in the army. I was not. This is more of a fantasy trope that I've learned, especially playing games and reading a lot of books. You got the guys in the front lines, you know, who are leading from the front, of course. And you also have the type of guys who like to sit back, have the captains, lieutenants, or whatever in different platoons, you know.
Well, that's the delegation piece, but you set the intention early.
Right. So this is more kind of what I'm getting at with like the philosophy that I've seen in books. Fantasy in games, not real life like Major on the front lines. But what was the other caveat to that?
Delegating, leading from followers of leaders.
Yeah, there was another quote I learned from one of probably the best managers I've ever had in my life. There are great leaders and great managers. And in times of crisis, you got to be both. You know, so there are guys who know how to inspire and lead, but they're always great managers. Right now, there are a lot of great managers in corporate jobs, but they're not good leaders. And that's just.
I agree with that.
You said what?
I said, I agree with that.
They're not good leaders. They don't inspire, they delegate, and they demand results without any empathy or context to, you know, where they're sending people. And, you know, quite honestly, I learned leading is service. You know, the president is the ultimate servant. King is the ultimate servant. I won't speak for God, you know, but, you know, if you're a leader, you are a servant. You are serving a greater cause, you know, a group of people. Again, like, you know, you got to follow somebody to learn how to lead. You know, you got to follow bodies to learn how to lead. You know, that one general is not going to be the general for, you know, all time. He's bringing others up, you know. So and that's a service to a greater cause. And for me, I like to let just people in general know you got to learn how to you got to learn how to follow first so you can lead. And there are just a lot of intangibles you have to have, a lot of transferable skills, and that's another thing with getting to the habits. What works for you versus I can't remember if it was you or no, I think it was my guy Julian who said he was using somebody else as a model, but that wasn't realistic because that was what that person's path was. So he actually just
There
tried
you
to
go.
be a teacher. But you pick up little habits and then you adapt them to your own strengths, and that's something I'm huge on. So
And that's where Kobe comes in.
yeah,
You use what you take the Mamba mentality that works for you and make it work.
right. But Kobe also, he borrowed a little bit from everybody. It wasn't just Jordan.
Oh yeah.
He has pieces and he just made it his own. So he might be the 1B to Jordan or the heir apparent, but Kobe was great in his time for what he did. Timmy was Mr. Consistent. Saying like KD. KD has been consistent. I think KD scored under double digits for the first time in I don't know how long, probably a couple of years ago, and he had like a 10-year streak or something like that, or like a close to a 13-year streak of just consistency.
Yeah.
So it was mine.
But one of those names that we often overlook, and Jordan is, he's the GOAT. He's always in the GOAT conversation, who's ever people are patting their games after. But every consistent scorer, big, little, wherever they are on the floor, they've gone through one person. Give Akeem Olajuwon his credit for making the dream step. Everybody's doing that now. You know where they got it from? Hakeem Olajuwon. Guess who else went? Guess who spent time with Hakeem Olajuwon? Your boy Kobe.
Yeah.
Everybody. So there are definitely the Beck, Bar, and Still method is something I talk about all the time. I'm taking what I need to get to the next level. I don't have to recreate everything. So
Like artists.
there's greatness all around us.
There's a book called Still Like an Artist.
There you go.
There's nothing new under the sun. God originally ended with God. This is another quote from the writer community. But I mean, you just adapt it. This is kind of my tidbit to everybody. When you get upset about something, just realize you've seen this all before. If you read a book, if you play a game, watch a movie, watch a TV show, it's the same formula. You know what makes it original? The person that wrote it, the person who's acting it, the person that's playing, you just add little tidbits here and there. The villain, the tyrant, whatever, they always fall. The jealous, the liar, the two-faced deceiver, they always get exposed. You've seen all this.
My favorite songs are all remakes.
Absolutely.
My favorite artists. Well, my all-time favorite is Luther Vandross.
Hey.
One of my other favorites is Mary J. Blige. Neither one of them would be who they are if they didn't take and remake a song and make it their own. A House Is Not a Home is a Dionne Warwick song.
Yeah. Well, I want to say there's a quote that I got from my last therapist. I know we always get my therapist jokes. This is a real thing. And I also picked up another tidbit from a YouTube video. Especially playing video games. So stop watching the same movie and expecting a different ending.
Right.
I'm talking about watching the same exact movie, not watching a sequel or remake. Stop watching the same movie. Original Friday the 13th, whatever. Expecting a Titanic, original. Stop watching it and expecting a different ending. And then here's another quote. A lot of people, I want people to really take this. I got some free game tips that I will give out. Some others I'm not going to be down to. Think of life like a game. Remember where that first trap was, that first pitfall. I use Naruto to I'm a nerd. I'm the original topic before being a nerd. Part 1 of Naruto, one of the first episodes was called the Bell Test. So they are running with this 13. They're like 12, 13 years old. He's telling them, take this bell from my mom. You can do that, you pass. They're not going to pass. They're 13-year-old kids. Do not work like that. They pass because they learn empathy and teamwork when Naruto failed the test. Part two starts with Naruto retaking the test with one of the teammates. And he avoided the same pitfall by using his strength, having Chrome go in first to find the traps, and then he went. So he used his strength. Naruto's strength is always a utility called the Shadow Clone. He used a bunch of different copies of himself to get different tasks done. So he avoided the pitfall by having a copy of himself go in to find your strength, avoid falling for the same traps. You can apply this to almost any aspect of your life. I guarantee you, once you do this, like things will fall into your. And also practice that. Be great. You might not have a lot, but you got something.
I had a mentor tell me, you can make a million mistakes, you just can't make the same one twice.
Never make the same mistake twice. Never.
I mean, it's definitely a learning. I mean, it's a learning process. It is what it is.
I also want to
it's
say
the
that
consistency and working the plan.
I also want to say that making the same mistake twice is, I don't want to say a character flaw, but it's an unhealthy habit that you need to unlearn. Because a lot of times, if you're repeating, but not the same exact mistake, but if we are repeating something and getting the same result, and that's when we have to have some introspection, looking to figure out where that is coming. It's usually a trauma response. So I'm not.
Well, I mean, trauma is important, but we give trauma too much credit. Sometimes it's just we're hard headed, and we don't know. We haven't been given the tools, or we haven't been able to express use the tools to help us get through this situation.
Yeah, but
it's a lot of times it's about experience, it's about purpose, it's about growth, and it's not about I don't know, I can't grasp this concept. Somebody has to sit me down and break it down and show it to me from another angle, because I don't know how to change. I don't know how to change the channel. All I see is this movie. I need to change the environment. Something has to change for me, and I don't always know what that is.
Yeah,
so I'm going to continue to make this mistake until I learn. I have an opportunity to learn.
You can't heal
better
in the same environment you got sick. And that's another one. CM Punk is where I heard that originally, and that's one I live. Which was, again, why I was very adamant about my relocation. Another therapist of mine taught me was that sometimes you just have to take a step back and see things from a different perspective. And it goes back to being emotional about some things when that's. If I'm sitting directly, right in front of this camera, I can't see clearly versus if I stood behind this chair or if I change the light, I see a different vantage point. Sometimes you really just have to take a step back. And this is something I haven't. So I just had to bulldoze through life mentality. I'm 0 to 210 all the time. The former relationship counselor I had told me that I feel like I probably seem like everybody's moving slow pace because I am a type A++, just going 110 miles per hour all the time. But for me, I had to learn. All right, I am way too overstimulated. I'm way too hyper focused. Sit back, take a break, play a video game, take my adult nap, which I'm big on, read a book, write, journal, meditate for short. Day 1114 today.
Congratulations.
Thank you. That's consecutive. I mean, it's not the number. It's just a matter of what goes behind that number. But case in point, I find different ways to meditate. I'm meditating right now. There's a focus meditation going on in my right ear, just so that I can stay locked in. So I find different ways to meditate all the time. Most people don't realize you can do a passive meditation. I can turn my art into meditation. I can meditate while I'm playing.
Bring that one back for me.
Well,
you're doing this right now. We're having this conversation. But you have
there's a meditation right now going on, quantum focus. I'm about to switch this because I got some notifications there. That's what that looks like. So when I really need to lock in, I sit at a desk, I play this, and I am locked in for an hour and a half. I can. So when people tell me that they don't think I can sit still, I'm like, oh, hold my beer, or I'm hold my adult beverage. But yeah, you could. I mean, you could be a someone who likes to paint. Play a passive little playlist, a solfeggio frequency in your ear, and just watch the results you'll get. Gregorian chants, listen to those, and then there are others you can do passively. But I also wake up. Part of my morning routine
And
is,
that seems I of to I guess my definition or my understanding of focus
but
is different.
wait. This is again another free game tip, a life hack. If you think it's hard for you to meditate during the day, because it is realistically, I mean, during that 9 to 5 time, there's so much going on. The world is moving. That's why I wake up at 4 a.m. most days. I overslept today, but I had a really bad headache. I'm sleeping over the flu. Um, but there are different ways you can meditate while you sleep. Wake up at 4 a.m. My morning routine intentionally. I wake up to take a pause to sit and meditate. To me, meditation is another form of prayer. I'm listening, and then when I actively pray, I'm asking. But I'm always asking, what can I give? How can I serve to get the things, the peace, the tranquility, the serenity, the balance for sure that I need. Again, there are different things that go into that number. It's dedication, it's focus, it's intentionality, it's wisdom, it's discipline. There's so many different things that, people hear 1,114 days and think, oh, that's a really big number. No, there's more to that number more things I've gotten out of that over the last 1,114 days. But for me, when I try to tell a student, I think it was actually you when I first built this streak. Get to 3 days in a row. You can do a 2-minute meditation. Then stretch to 5 minutes, stretch to 10 minutes. I can meditate for 30 minutes intentionally without doing anything else, just sitting still for 30 minutes. Then I got to an hour. I can do an hour straight, just sitting in meditation in a monk pose. So
Where do you find that out? Is it the same hour every day?
If I want to be, yeah, but 4 a.m. is when I wake up. If I need that extra 30, I might stretch to 3:30 because I need to be at the gym at a certain time. Because quite honestly, my shower is probably the longest part of my morning. Just my shower, getting dressed and all that. That takes a minute for me to really get that good looking, handsome Prince Charming going. But no, I make sure I take my. Hey, I'm sorry, man. I don't know I look at it, so. But no, I mean if I gotta walk Ghost first, sometimes I have to switch it up too. Sometimes I might just have to walk Ghost just to get out the house, get some fresh air. But you can meditate while you walking your dog.
Yeah, but I'm just like you're focused. You have a focused meditation while you're doing something else. So how do you focus on the meditation?
It's passive. You do know that again. Your subconscious is always working.
So was it just music?
Yeah, it's just play. It's just a sound. It's just a sound. It's literally just a sound. But when I started doing this and I really need to focus, I didn't even realize how much I was locked in. Yeah, it's different. I mean, again, I do not get paid.
Okay, I mean, I do use one of the YouTube channels I play at work is like smooth jazz for work or meditate for studying for the music so it kind of just keeps you going and it limits outside noise.
Yeah,
and that's the one of the things that kind of
heat noise stuff like
for
that.
me is because when people hear it, they know it's like, all right, everybody comes in. Do you have a minute? I'm like literally in the middle of something. You hear the keyboard ticking, or you see me with a highlighter in my hand with a page and a calculator. What am I supposed to say to you? No, I don't have a minute. You're coming to me because you have a problem. So it helps kind of block out, not black out because I can't black out at work because there's so many other things going on, but it helps limit. But it's just like to have I don't know, I guess my definition of focus and the meditation piece, because meditation like yoga, like in yoga, I can't do yoga and add up these numbers. I can't do yoga and work on this, personnel issue. I can't do yoga so I guess it's a perspective. It just seems odd.
he said tacos built different. I'm messing around. No, like literally, I'm with you though, because I got the noise canceling headphones when I really, really need to not just hear all of that background noise to the white noise of the world. Basically, this music I'm listening to, this sound is brown noise. Uh, so basically, it's just tuning out and helping my mind focus. There's no like actual directions or anything like that. But again, a few life hacks. If you feel you cannot make the time, and I do not get paid by this app, but download the Insight Timer app. It's like an all-in-one. You can journal, keep track of your mood, listen to music, guided meditation, some talk, uh, uh, and things like that. Download the Insight Timer, figure out what it is you want, and then listen to some sleep meditations. You can build you can start a streak that way, and that helped me with my sleep, my insomnia. So I mean, again, this what you're saying is your philosophy on meditation is different, but again, that kind of goes to play into your strengths because I'm always adaptable. I always make that time to sit still for at least 10 minutes, at least, because I sometimes I got to change up my routine. As part of my morning routine. When I got back, after my injury, got back into the gym, I had to incorporate that into my daily routine. And for me, getting back to those hour-long workouts, it was important. I might not be where I was before, but that was important to me because that's where I find some fulfillment. That's again how I kind of decompress, especially before I start my workday. So it looked different for everybody, but right now, for Major's benefit and everyone else, what I'm listening to is brown noise to help me focus, help me not be so overstimulated, so you don't see me looking zany or, uh, sporadic, frenetic, whatever. I'm literally just this is helping me stay focused on being more mindful. So
Sure. I just like how you focus on that, but okay.
but again,
And one another thing, I'm not a multitasker. I don't believe in multitasking.
well,
I
you
believe
gotta
if it's
focus
something,
on
if there's something worth doing right the first time, and I can't, and that's part of the reason why I don't get stuff done at work because I get into something like, oh, I forgot, I gotta do that. I got three projects going at one time, and the deadlines. There's a calendar in the process, but there's always a little bit of stress, a
yeah,
little bit of added stress because it's still trying to do everything at once. No, let's do one thing at a time, get it done right, and then you can move on. You don't have to think about it again. You don't have
yeah,
to think about going back and correcting anything that you just rushed through because you were trying to get it done. So you can get it done, move on, get it done, get it finished, move on.
yeah.
So I just because it's a perspective. It's just okay. That makes
But I'm
sense.
with you on that because for me, um, I have to sit down and get something done. I have to be able to focus on it without thinking about. But I don't. I'm diagnosed all DHD, ADHD and autism mix, neurospicy basically. I'm very low spectrum autism, where most people don't even notice unless you're just able to read it. Then very, very high spectrum ADHD, where I am bouncing off the walls without using my discipline and things like that. So the tools I've gained over the last few years. But I say all that to say, a lot of times I want to do a lot of different things, but that's not making me the most productive. You know what I mean? So like, I hate alarms. I literally hate alarms. But I gotta set an alarm. I gotta be able to have some type of structure, but also got to be able to have my freedom, my fluidity to really invest in it. So I got to make a schedule. I got to honor the schedule, and then I got to honor the routine, the habits, and then I got to adapt because it's not going to be perfect first time. And I just had to learn perfection is not real. So I'd rather, and not necessarily rather, but I should be a consistent B plus player if that's going to help me because being type A plus plus, I will go 110% all the way into something and burn myself out. you know.
Yeah.
So like I have to learn to have that structure, give myself those built-in breaks. I had a student,
Yeah.
and I think he was a second or third grader, this kid Caleb. He was actually the reason I got diagnosed when people finally realized my ADHD because he had a lot of imposter syndrome, couldn't sit still. He had a lot of different concerns. Going back to his trauma, you just can't let trauma be your excuse. You got to learn how to overcome it and what it is and how to address it. and make peace with your demon. But long story short, he had a lot of stuff going on to where he couldn't focus. But one thing I had learned: give a child a quick break and let them come back, and then boom, let them do that little thing they want to do. If it's a autistic student who just wants to get up and walk around the classroom, they're not harming nothing. You should be all right. The student wants to just
Yeah,
do it.
routines are very, very specific
Yeah,
for intellectually impaired individuals.
yeah. Well, they're just yeah. There's a different way to word that. We don't have to get into DC, but like, if they want to doodle, actually, if you're doodling, a lot of times, again, your subconscious is always working, always listening. You just might not realize it because you're invested in this. I can be, writing and doing some art and just hearing some little stuff and something that stick out to me. I might not realize it
Yeah.
at the time, but I'm not always the most focused and most productive. So like for me, I tell people this all the time. When I go on a date, the first date is on first floor. It's not gonna be a dinner date. I'm talking the entire time. I'm literally just saturating it up. I am joking. But when I want to eat my food, I'm watching TV. I'm watching a movie because I'm not thinking about eating at that point. It's just I'm focused on the show, the movie. It's the weirdest thing to me. But when I learned that, it's just like, oh, to be able to sit and eat my full steak with the rice and the veggies and everything I done put together, the lamb chops that Ghost is trying to eat off my plate. I gotta be watching Blacklist. I gotta be watching this movie. That's how I focus on that.
I
So
mean,
yeah,
it's definitely a process, and it just to each their own. I mean, and we just I guess this is the theme of the show. Find what works for you,
I mean,
and make it yours.
yeah. We're coming up a little. It's about noon now for you, so I know you said you got something going on. We can wrap. A little over hour 15. But again, I think this is just a theme of life, especially this decade, and for those of us from the late 1900s, 90s babies. Do what works for you. Find your own happiness, your own bliss, and stop comparing yourselves to others. Again, competition is one of my number one Clifton strengths. I'm actually working to get certified as a Clifton strengths coach. But find your strengths. Your only competition is who you were the moment before. Who you were
Right?
before this moment is already passed, but you already know that the script is written. So your victory, whatever, is already in hand. You just got to dedicate yourself to it. So, find what works for you. Stop worrying about a bunch of fake stuff on social media, Instagram, TikTok, whatever. I am literally, if you're watching the podcast, I'm nothing but ones and zeros. That's it. If you don't know me in real life, catch the 501 Taco podcast online, YouTube, Spotify, Anchor, whatever. Not Anchor, Odyssey, whatever. When you listen to me, I am nothing but ones and zeros. You've never met me in real life. And a great voice. Same thing with Major. But if you know me in real life, you know parts of me, probably the only news of what you're getting is authentic. But at the end of the day, who I am, this is my experience. Everybody can't do something. It's just me.
That's it. I mean,
I got a twin. We not the same person. Me and my twin Mustard. We not the same person.
uh
All right.
Online is. I mean, it's not a real place. You know what I'm saying? Instagram, Twitter,
I've literally seen people.
TikTok.
I've literally seen people post videos of being out of the country on boats. I would see them 5 minutes later in the grocery store, struggling to pay for their groceries. I'm like, aren't you supposed to be in Cancun or Maldives or something? Oh no, that I just repost some videos. I'm like, oh, so you just front and like, okay.
See, that's the beauty of being fake. Because I'll go somewhere. I remember I was posting all of my. We were in the Dominican Republic a few years back with a big family group.
I saw the picture. I remember.
I took pictures every day, and I posted them all consecutively after I got back.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh, I thought you were in." Why would I do that? Because now, if you know a little bit about me, you think I'm out of the country, so you can come in and try to run through my stuff. Surprise! I'm not who you think I am. It's the highlight reel. This is the highlights of the moments. Sometimes I'll be live in this place, but most times I'm back at home when I'm telling you where I was. So social media is fun. but it's not real.
Yeah,
It's not real.
I didn't
Like
even
my
post.
my 800 views I got. I'm so proud of my 800 views on my little lacrosse story from last week.
Hey,
That
congrats.
was Saturday. I posted it on Sunday. Actually, I didn't even post it on Instagram until a couple of days later because I had the big fail on TikTok. But it's just about fun and it's not real. It's somebody and I'm having fun with it. I want to share some experiences.
I
So
mean,
it's a matter of harnessing it and finding what's for you and working it.
but I mean, I guess more of my point, do what works for you, of course. No, but I mean, I posted a reel, like one of my first reels ever, for my 35th birthday. You don't see half of what I did.
Right?
Like I don't sit on my phone looking to capture moments. I get what's important. And I might share it, I might not. I haven't even posted this fire selfie I had with my the chick I was dating recently. I'm still getting to know.
You
Um,
can't post it now.
well, it's just literally just a selfie with me with the code is fit. My little cousin gave me the bottle of food. Shout out, baby Sriracha. As you can see, I give a lot of people in my family um, food nicknames or spicy nicknames for sure. Um, I don't post everything. Like parts of my life, I keep to myself. Yeah, when I tell people you see different personas, that's literally it. My best friend Sam called me Joker from Persona 5.
Yeah,
Literally,
that's why you can't use social media to guide your life. Well, this is what I saw on Instagram, and this is the way they're doing it. That's a lot.
man,
That's not how it works.
it's a lot
You know
of.
how much money you gotta have in the stock market to make it big and live off of your dividends?
I'm gonna say blunt. A lot of people that you see with the blue checks and they influence you, they are actually really lame in real life. Like, I mean, like literally, they are the most boring people you will ever meet because every part of them is socially crafted, superficial, Instagram or social media persona. They're not who they pretend to be.
Right?
That's more the point I
It's
was
not
getting.
a real place.
That's more what I was getting at with the whole posting that you out of the country, on some trip, and you just reposting to look like you're still doing that so that you can impress people. Like that's what I was getting at. Like,
Yeah,
that's
it's fake.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's so fake that I get to be fake.
I mean, it's so fake that you think I'm fake because you're basing off who I am off of online persona. You never met me in real life. I'm literally like I am I want to be a wallflower. I can't. I just have that much presence, authority when but I'm literally just a nerd, bro. Like I talk sports. One of my new buddies, Tom, he said, "I am so glad you talk about other things besides just sports all the time, bro." I'm like, I could talk to anybody about anything. It's just if you really want to get to know me, you got to meet me in real life. You got to probably
Yeah.
catch me at work because again, when I'm meditating, sometimes I'm just thinking about how I can apply some stuff to work. I've spent more time learning to not give so much work my time, but now I also need to get back to having a social and dating life with higher quality people, um, higher quality women dating, but just
Well, you're finding out what you need to do, and that the consistency with the stretch for continuous improvement is important. So
yeah.
it's a
But
journey, man. It's not easy. There's no destination, but it's a constant flow. So
yeah, and fall in love with the journey, people. Stop looking at the end result. Fall in love with the journey. That's where
yeah.
you're growing. The middle of the book is the most important. Nobody likes the ending.
Well,
So
you don't understand the end if you don't go through the middle.
yeah, I mean, just you, and then you also don't understand the end. We can actually probably bring this back to another episode because when you really apply it through life experiences, I've read the Harry Potter books 20 times up until I think 2019, 2020, something like that. When I finished college and maybe a little after,
I've
I
never read a Harry Potter book. I've never
well,
even seen a movie.
that's tragic. That's trauma, people. As Lee said, I'm joking, but no. I grew
It's
up with it.
Star Wars revisited.
Same story, just retold different ways, right? But long story short, um, I read those books 20 times, all of them, probably except 2 and 5. 5 was just depressing. But when you grow and you learn, you can apply different things, to your life, and you'll see it from a different perspective. Reading that is a literally a child to mid 20s. That's 3 different eras. I went through the 10 years old to the teenage years to the early 20s to mid to late 20s. And I've still to this day as a 35-year-old man, I see different things from different perspectives now. I understand different characters now that I might not have understood when I was a kid because I was thinking of it from a kid's perspective. You know, this person is just they're a piece of crap. You know, they're blah blah. I might not like a lot of two-faced fake people, but I understand the need for it because you gotta, you know, sometimes you just gotta put on a mask to get through certain situations.
It's like we were talking about, you know, the moral cause of, you know, like Elon Musk was the example we talked about with like investing in Tesla or investing in Elon Musk. Now, you
Yeah,
don't like Elon Musk, so you're going to take your money out, but you have a different moral view of the world as you get older. It's like Elon Musk is an asshole. I wouldn't want to hang out with Elon Musk. But damn it, if
you're
holding
not
on to this
investing
damn
in
stock is
Elon
going to
Musk.
put some, you know, give me a couple of dollars in a few years, shut up, Elon. You know what? Turn Elon off and just watch and see what Tesla does in a few years. There's a different level of, okay, young and emotional, hate Elon Musk, get away from everything he does. Older and more mature and financially, you know, astute. All right, just hold on and see what his company does. When he
So
goes on and smokes weed on Joe Rogan's podcast, does it affect my money? A little bit. But what's going to happen in the next few years? What's tomorrow? We got a week and the world's going to change.
yeah,
So let's see what happens and how the money
I'm,
grows.
well, I want to say that I'm gonna bleep out his name. Again, I just now I know I tell my job, you know, we say don't tell me how to art. My job is how I make my money, though. So I'm honoring their request that I don't say anything too controversial. Um, and I don't touch politics. That's nothing against what you said, because moral story, what I'm hearing you say is just invest in you. I'm not investing in Elon
That's
Musk.
it.
My money is not going to Elon Musk. I'm investing for me, you know, to grow my
Right.
income, and I'm just using a company that Elon Musk happened to purchase and run. Um, so, you know, that's
His
more.
business acumen is not his personal acumen. I'm
But I mean,
pretty solid on that.
it doesn't have to be your virtues or your values either. You know, if your value is I need to take care of my family, then invest in something that's short. You know, and if Tesla is on the rise or whatever, then invest in it. You're not investing in Elon Musk. He's a billionaire regardless. He has more money than he could ever spend in his life. And how he got it,
Amazon too.
Amazon, and all of those. I mean, literally, you're not investing in
Apple, Microsoft.
you're not investing in them. You're investing in you. You know, so do what you got to do for you. So that's
And
my
that's a maturity thing. That's a 10-year-old. Ooh, Elon Musk is bad. He's a bully. Leave him alone. I don't like him. To you know, further on down the line is like,
oh, he's still no,
let's see what the business does.
he's still absolutely a dickhead. He's still trash. But
Yeah, we're not kicking anytime soon, but
but
me and Tesla gonna ride this
no,
thing
no,
out.
no, no. My point is he's still absolute trash. I'm not trying to hang with him. I don't give a fuck about him. I'm investing in me. You know, I doubt you will meet a billionaire who's and this is 11 make a wish taco on me 6 figures in the next couple years. But I doubt you'll meet a billionaire who's not an absolute piece of shit. Like, I mean,
I don't know about that,
I mean,
but there are gonna be some things about him you don't like.
but it also just might be a subjective thing, and that's a personal preference. Again, watch The Fall of the House of Usher. This is my final thought. Do what works for you and stop. Fuck everybody else, bro. Fuck the other side. Literally, fuck everybody else. Do what works for you. I honestly wish I could be as selfish and cold as you know Elon Musk sometimes without it eating away at me when I got to do something. Is you know sacrifice the moral to get ahead. I mean, quite honestly, I wish I could be that just detached, but that's not me. So I do what I got to do for me. I sacrifice what I got to. You know, I bend my morals when I need to. So again, do what works for you. Fuck the other side.
Listen, man, life is an individual task conducted in a community setting.
Yep.
Make the best of your environment, make the best of your efforts, and live life where you can be happy with yourself at the end of the day. You can get a good night's sleep.
Yep. It's called meditation, folks. Download Insight Timer. They don't pay me for whatever. But yeah, just literally, we are all players in the same theater. We're all actors in the same theater. So play your role. You know, enjoy the middle, and know that the end is in your favor. So again, thank you.
That's it. I like that.
I mean, that's literally what I have to tell myself every day when I'm frustrated, struggling. I might have to decompress with a joint or something, but I just got to remember to take a step back, and it's always going to work out in my favor. I've failed my way up, but I haven't
That
failed.
failure is part of the process. You don't get to the top without falling down.
Yeah, I haven't failed to the point where I'm ruined. But the only time you actually fail is when you give up, when you quit. That's the
There you
difference between a
go.
winner and a loser. If you learn the lesson, you on the way up still. So that's 501 tacos this Sunday. I might not even actually have to edit this episode too much because I think we did it pretty fire. So probably bleep out. I might not, but again, that's your own viewpoint on Elon, and that's not you. I'm saying that's how people might take it. But um, I'm probably just supposed to just figure it out. Because, again, perfection isn't real, but this is 501 tacos. Uh, welcome to the kitchen. AM Monday, I'm back in the office, but right now you're on Taco Time with the Best Voice Podcast. And shout out Major Butler for another great episode. Thank you for all the insight and wisdom. We are sorry, our condolences to him being a Knicks fan, but hey, we all make different choices, man. We all got our own.
Listen, man.
I'm talking to
My hometown is my hometown. I might root for another team, but New York for life. Queens, stand up.
I grew up in Detroit, folks, and that is part of my shonen protagonist origin story. I was born in SoCal, LA, and the first thing I knew was the wind was hurting my face during the winters. So working my way back home. So thoughts and prayers to the people who suffer
Hey,
from
man. Yeah, for real.
thoughts and prayers to the people who suffer from wildfires, man. So yeah, that is 501 tacos, everyone. Again, thanks for tapping in with us. We'll be back next weekend, or excuse me, Wednesday. Wednesday work for you again? No, wait, I can't do
No,
Wednesday.
this week, preseason workouts begin.
Yeah, I can't do Wednesday. I got the varsity practice for the esports team, and then I got a Spanish table and some work events to do. So next Saturday, again, we'll probably be back. I'm actually gonna.
Saturday. Next weekend, actually, is that I'm traveling. We got a family event. So next 2 weekends, actually, I'm on the road. Next weekend for family, the 25th, I'm working. I got some training I got to go get done. And the
Yeah,
weekend of the 1st, we'll see what's happening
yeah.
as we
Well,
get closer to it.
yeah, I'm still putting out some content. My new apartment is being prepped, so I'll be finally moved into that by the first.
All right, but
Sooner. Yeah, so working on that. But all right, so ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna try to tap in with Major when we can. I'm still gonna put out some content. I got just some voice audio episodes I can post for you all. I try to make it visual because we got two good looking black men on camera from late 1900s folks. Hey, again, thank you. I might actually see if Baby Sriracha can tap in next weekend or something. You get my little man on what's his name, get him playing some crap. I think we got a game next Saturday too. All right, so schedule change. Look at that fluid, people. We adapting. We're adapting on the spot, and that's why you got to honor the schedule. Guess who's about to sit down and rewrite his schedule and figure out where he got to be and when.
plan your work and work your plan.
You see how it all comes together, man. It's full circle. This is a hero's journey in one episode of podcast, and you gotta love it. All right, so I'm gonna let Major do his thing. I've taken up more than enough time. I know his wife is probably thinking about killing me soon. But shout out to the lady at the house, honor your queens, and the guy from LA and the guy from Queens. Thank you for this episode. Brown Noise is finishing right now. Look at that, people. All comes together. It's like something the Lord made, right? On Sunday. All right. So again,
All right, man. One.
peace.